Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to our Metallica discography. So, for those who are of the uninitiated, let me fill you in just on what the hell is going on. So, in the current year, 2026, I plan on sewing everything up and putting a neat little bow on our time with Metallica for good. And the only way to do that is to release a video on Christmas Day of this year, simply titled, Every Metallica Song Ranked from Worst to Best. I can't imagine what could go wrong with an idea like that, but that's exactly what we're going to find out. Because one advantage doing something like this does is that we get to go through every single Metallica album and every single song, with some exclusions, because we're not really going to be covering things like Garage Incorporated or Lulu. Although I had possibly considered the idea of doing some singles that aren't like released anywhere else, and let me know in the comments if you think I should be including them, because it would be kind of funny to see if we should include them and where they should rank. But listen, there's already 120 odd songs we've got to do anyway, and getting to this stage wasn't exactly an easy feat, because we've had a bit of an interesting incline in terms of video production per album, because first it was 10, then 8, then 8 again, then 9, then 12, and now we get to 14 songs on one album, and I think Reload has probably just as much in terms of output. Either way, there is a lot to cover, and for what is the 48th song we've had to talk about so far, because, listen, the only way I've had to do this is I'm dividing this whole retrospective in both May, and then we pick it up again in October. But guess what? Because there is still so much to go over, we may as well keep up the pace and keep this train going. Because here's the thing. We now move into the pseudo Bob Rock era of Metallica's output. Sort of where they really did make the full transition from thrash metal to hard progressive rock music. And it's probably the time where a lot of people were there's a lot of very split opinions when it comes to Load and Reload, and probably even more mixed when it comes to Saint Anger, even though I've made it known that I don't really like that album, but we'll get over it by the time we get there. In the meantime, this is also the album that was made out of blood, sweat, fire, and quite literally spunk. Most of it is spunk, by the way. The cover, by the way, nothing to do with the music. But is the rest of Load a complete and utter load as well? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out. And I have to also lead a confession in terms of, well, the very first song on Load is called Ain't My Bitch, which it's an out there title, I'll say that much, but, well, what about the rest of the song? Because even when I first heard it, Ain't My Bitch doesn't exactly sound, it almost doesn't really sound like a Metallica, like a song for a Metallica, the title for a song, but, well, this is a sort of bold and new direction, so let's see exactly where that took them. Let's go. while you were around. So useless. So it ain't my fault, it ain't my call, it ain't my time. Right, so surprisingly enough, and well, actually, no, it's not really surprising at all, because you know what? I think I talked about it the very first time I ever talked about Load, like 7.5 years ago now, that there's a lot of things I really, really, really do like, and I think the reason why is because actually, you know what? You're gonna have to some people just have to roll over and accept that actually Metallica could do hard rock really, really well. And if you really think about it, Metallica have always... I think there's very good reasons why I'm glad they kind of left thrash metal back in the 80s, and they sort of tried to do... they matured and they wanted to try and experiment with doing other things. Now, of course, you're not going to get Revolution number 9 out of this. That's a little bit... that's not really music if you really want to push it. But I'm glad that they kind of went in this direction, because guess what? Guess what? All their stuff from the 80s, it's not going anywhere. And it's... Because, remember, the comparison could also be made towards when Pantera... When they did a lot of their music in the 80s, a lot of it was like more hard rock when they finally became even harder in the 90s. So, and a lot of Pantera stuff in the 80s isn't, you know, bad or anything like that. It's just compared to what came afterwards, there's almost no contest. Metallica, on the other hand, there's a lot of room to say, guess what? it's a lot better than probably people ever gave it credit for. And whilst that certainly is true, in terms of the grand scheme of like how do I rank it, yeah, it's an interesting one because there's a part of me that wants to like rank it a little bit high, but also, is it as good as, well, some things that are to come, not only on this album but even further beyond. And that's a really, and I should also point this out, for in terms of how I'm going to make this tier list work, is that what I did is that at the beginning, like even before we started recording videos for this, I already had it in mind about where exactly certain songs were going to place where. So I did myself a full tier list before we actually listened to the songs. So that means that we have a lot of room for maneuver, so we can move certain songs backwards and forwards, based entirely what we thought of them. And, well, since it's a very subject to change kind of deal, it gives us, again, flexibility and, well, the opportunity to say, guess what? That's pretty much where I want them to be. So, yeah, maybe, I possibly maybe want to move, I'll tell you what, I'll move it just a little bit further down. Well, but then again, we might come back to that a lot later, but let's, because bear in mind, there's a lot of load to go, and I hope they don't shoot it far too early. Yeah. In the meantime, I hope to see all of you guys again next time. Thank you.